Hello, dear hearts. It's Catherine Ewing from Sacred Heart Alchemy. Since I'm going to be sharing this brain heart coherence practice with you, I thought I'd call you dear hearts. It just seemed right. Anyway, I want to share a little bit of information with you about the heart and the brain before I go into the actual little practice itself. So, if you're like me, you learn that the heart is like a pump, right? That it's just a physical thing and it moves blood through the body and it helps to keep us alive. And we all learned that and believed that for a really long time. But over the last, I want to say 20 years or so, there's been so much research done on the heart, especially by people like Greg Braden and Doc Childrey and the other folks at the HeartMath Institute, that we know now that the heart is just so much more than just a simple pump. If we were to replace our actual physical heart with a pump, our blood would keep going, but lots of other things wouldn't happen. So the first thing that was really fascinating to me was to know that the heart is actually the first thing to start to develop in a fetus. And because it's the first thing to develop, it actually had to have its own source of intelligence. So there's actually a heart brain in addition to our, the brain that we think of in our head. And the heart brain is constantly sending signals to our mind brain um, about how to respond based on the messages through our emotions and our senses that are coming in through our body. So, in fact, it's really the heart brain that's running the show, not so much the mental brain. So, what scientists have discovered, in addition to that, is that we also have another brainwave state than most of us have been taught. If you know about brainwave states at all, over the years we've learned that there are four brainwave states. So beta is the brainwave state that we, when we're in our busy mind and going through our day and our to-do lists, right, and work, we're in beta. When we stop to slow down and relax, we then drop through three other brainwave states where the brainwave gets slower, and that's alpha. And in alpha, we're kind of sleepy or maybe more in a meditative state. Theta, where we drop more deeply into that state and are very susceptible to perhaps hypnosis or suggestibility. And then delta, when we're in deep sleep without dreaming. But they've discovered now that there's actually a brainwave state called gamma. And this is a higher vibrating state that monks and yogis have used, for hundreds of years. And they've discovered that monks actually reach their highest level of creativity when they're in this gamma state. And I'm actually going to show you how to reach that state in this little ritual. But what happens when we do that is that we come into coherence. When we practice this ritual, we come into coherence between our heart brain and our mental brain. So coherence really just means that pattern waves, energy waves, are sort of flowing with each other instead of colliding into each other. And when our heart and our brain are in coherence, we are calmer, we have access to higher level thinking, we're more in touch with our intuition, we're really open to much more higher guidance, inner knowing, deeper knowing than when we are acting from our mental brain. There's no interference, if you will. Interference is sort of, I don't know if it's the opposite of coherence. I'm not a scientist, but it seems to me that that's kind of what it implies, right? So when we're operating from our mental brain, it is literally sorting through all our past experiences, all our beliefs, limiting beliefs or otherwise, right? All of the patterns, everything that's been held in our energy body, a mental, emotional, physical body, it sorts through it quickly, but it sorts through it before it comes up with an answer for us. Whereas if we go to the heart brain and we create that state of coherence, we're literally open to all kinds of information without the interference. The other thing that happens on a physiological level when we do this technique is that um, it begins a cascade of biochemical, physiological cascade of chemicals in the body that really support our overall well-being. So I've already mentioned that it sort of calms the mind, it relaxes the body, it puts the heart in the brain and the brain together in a more coherent energy wave pattern. But it also acts on our DNA. You probably don't know this language so much, but in the DNA, on the ends of each strand of DNA are something called telomeres. They're sort of like the plastic ends on your shoelaces, right? So it holds those shoelaces together and keeps them from fraying. Well, this is the job, in very simplistic terms, that the telomeres do with our DNA. And over time, they start to get frayed and broken, and that's as they fray, that's what we experience as the aging process. When we practice this simple 3-minute technique, this biophysiological cascade of good chemicals flowing through the body actually begins to help rebuild and repair those telomeres. So we're actually practicing anti-aging simply by doing this very simple process. So that's probably enough of an explanation. If you're interested in anti-aging and connecting more with your intuition and creativity and higher knowing, then you're in the right place. So let's just go ahead and I will explain how to do the technique. Very simply, in order to drop your awareness from your head brain into your heart brain, I don't know if you can see me in this video, but I'm going to invite you to just place a hand or even 2 hands, whatever feels comfortable for you, just nice and gently over your heart. And that will literally bring the focus of your awareness from your head, where it usually is, down into your heart. And I'll explain this first before we actually start to do it. So first we put hands, 1 hand or 2, over our heart. And then depending on what you're comfortable with, you either lower or close your eyes and bring your awareness to your breath. Without struggle or stress, you simply want to begin to create an inhalation that's about 5 seconds, and then an exhalation that's also 5 seconds. So just go ahead and take a moment and get a sense of how that feels. So that's about 5 seconds of inhalation, 5 seconds of exhalation. If you're used to doing really shallow breathing, which a lot of people are, it may feel as though you're having some difficulty even getting your breath down into your lungs with that. So just, don't try to force anything. Just do the best you can, making the breath of similar timing, if you will, the inhalation and the exhalation. And over time, you'll easily begin to inhale for 5 seconds and then exhale for 5 seconds. Once you get used to that process and how long 5 seconds or 10 seconds feels, you'll want to begin to introduce 4 words into your awareness. And as you introduce these words, you can either just hold the individual word in your consciousness, or you can actually apply the word, if you will, toward a person or a circumstance or a situation. And of course, you can always apply these words toward yourself, which is a beautiful self-care and self-love practice. And the 4 words are going to be very familiar to you if you know anything about law of attraction, right? And emotions and words that have higher vibration. The words are appreciation, gratitude, care, and compassion. I'll say those again. Appreciation, gratitude, care, and compassion. So we're just going to repeat those words silently to yourself as you continue this breathing process. I'm going to come over here and grab my phone for a moment because I want to actually set my timer so that we do this just for 3 minutes, so you can see how even 3 minutes will make a difference here. Sorry, I didn't have this set before. Here we go. I have my little, oh, it's set already. I was using this with clients the other day, so I'm already set on 3 minutes. All right, cool. So go ahead. I'm going to have you just begin by putting your hand or hands over your heart, however that feels comfortable for you, bringing that awareness right down into your heart. I'm going to start the timer, and as you do, just begin to focus gently on your breath. Take in 5 seconds for your inhalation. And 5 seconds for your exhalation. 5 seconds in. And 5 seconds out. And as your breath becomes more comfortable and more fluid, I'll just invite you now to bring these words into your awareness. Appreciation, gratitude, care, and compassion. Continuing to breathe with your 5-second inhalation and 5-second exhalation. Repeating those words, holding them in your conscious awareness. Bringing your attention again back to your breath now. Allowing your hands to just relax, perhaps settle on your lap. And on the next inhalation, on the next wave of the breath, just allowing your eyes to float open. Just taking a moment now to notice how you feel. Is your mind any quieter? Does your body feel any more relaxed? And so that's the simple process. We did that just for 3 minutes. And the beauty of doing this for just 3 minutes a day, aside from the specific benefit during those 3 minutes, how lovely it is, isn't it, to focus on appreciation and gratitude, right? And care and compassion. But the added benefit is that the chemical process that's set in motion of bringing all of these really feel good and healthy chemicals through your body is that that process lasts for 6 hours. So for 6 hours, it's like your body is being bathed in these wonderful chemicals that will continue to quiet your mind, open you up to more intuition and creativity, and support the health and well-being of your physical body. So just imagine if you do that 2 or 3 times a day, what the long-term effects of that will be, such positive effects on your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Okay, simple, right? So thank you for joining me on this video, and I really hope that you'll take the time to practice this just a couple times a day, 6 minutes of your day, for benefits that will last you a lifetime and actually a longer lifetime if you do this. Okay? All right. Well, thanks. It's been wonderful chatting with you, and many blessings. Bye now.